All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Magan Kalra, and it is completely my honor and my privilege to be here with all of you. Tell me, how many of you guys like magic? Raise your hand if you like magic. Oh, that's almost all of you. But do you know who's considered to be the best, the biggest magician ever? Who said that? Excellent, Houdini. And do you know the reason why was he considered to be the best and the biggest? Because he was the best escape artist in the world. Now, who's an escape artist? You tie his hands, you put him in a box, you put the box on fire, you throw the box from top of the building into the water. Houdini would every time get out of it. No matter what, every time get out of it. So the magician community in US, they said, you know what? You are the best, the biggest magician ever. But the magician community in UK, they said, no. We don't agree with you. We don't think you're the best, the biggest. So they were asked, why not? They said, you got to take on our challenge. He said, okay, I'm willing to take your challenge. What is your challenge? They said, you got to give us some time. So these guys took about 6 months and they built a room just about this big maybe. And they built it with some of the most advanced and the toughest materials in the world. Some of the most advanced technology, the locks, even laser couldn't cut it. And they invited Houdini to London. He landed and he was escorted to this room. Now, the moment he entered the room, he was shocked because the room was absolutely empty. There was nothing in the room except for one timer on the wall that read 60. So Houdini was puzzled. He said, what is my challenge? I don't understand. They said, this is your challenge. He said, what is it? They said, Houdini, in a moment we are going to lock you in this room. And the moment we lock you, the timer will begin. And you will have 60 minutes to get out of this room. And if you can get out of this room in 60 minutes, then we will consider you to be the best magician ever. Houdini said, sure, I'm ready. They said, hold on. And they stripped Houdini off almost all his clothes. They kept very bare minimum so he could not even hide any tools, any keys, anything whatsoever. And they said, okay, they locked the door and the timer started. Now Houdini, being the magician that he was, he started to work on the lock. And just by the sound he knew that the door has opened. So he pushed the door, but the door did not open. Now Houdini was wondering what happened. So he moved all the levers back once again and tried once again. Now he knew. So he pushed the door, but the door again did not open. It had never happened to Houdini. He was wondering what has happened. So he moved all the levers back again, tried once again. Now he knew the door has opened. He pushed the door, but the door again did not open. He looked at the timer, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, gave up. Took a deep breath, did this, and just by chance, at the last second, his head hit a spot on the door and the door swung open at the last second. Now my question to you is, why do you think the door opened only at the last second? Pardon me? Destiny? Yeah, you could say destiny. I mean, after all, it is destiny. He kept trying. He actually gave up. He actually gave up. Huh? Oh, there was a handle of the door where he hit. That wasn't the case. Here is what truly happened. The truth is, the magicians of UK, they never locked the door. True story. They only told him that we are going to lock the door. And in Houdini's attempt to every time opening the lock, he was actually locking it. And that sound that it made was of it getting locked and not getting opened. Now, when I heard this story, I realized two things. Number one, was there any real lock that Houdini had to open? No, the lock was only in his mind. It was a mental lock. And the second thing that I learned was that many a times in our lives as well, we are also only dealing with mental locks, which become mental barriers and which become the mental mountains for our lives. And I say this out of my own experience. So let me share something with you about myself. I come from a small town in Haryana called Bhiwani, and I lost my dad when I was a kid. Now, I did not think of it as if my dad has passed away. The way I thought of it was, you know what? God's not fair with me. You know why? Because all my friends have their dad. I do not, so God's not fair with me. All right? After some time, my mom said, okay, I think we need to move to Delhi. It's good for your education. I did not think of that as moving to Delhi. I thought of it, you know what? It's not just that God is not fair to me, even my mom is not fair to me. Because the only memory that I have of my dad was this house, and she's selling this as well. So I'm living my life with this mental mountain. God is not fair with me. My mom is not fair with me. Anyway, we moved to Delhi, and one day I went to my mom and I said, Mom, I need new school shoes. She said, I'm so sorry, but I don't have money. I said, Mom, come on, it's 200 rupees. She said, I don't have it. If I had money, I would have given it to you. I did not think of it as if my mom doesn't have money. I thought of it that I knew it. God is not fair to me. My mom's not fair to me, and she does not even love me. And this is the mental mountain that I kept living my life with. And whoever I went to and I spoke to, they sympathized with me. They said, oh, poor boy, I can imagine what happened to you. It's not easy, the world is tough, the life is difficult. All of that happened. And that mental mountain kept becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Until one day I realized that I am giving all the power of my life and my results to my circumstances. And I'm not really taking complete responsibility for my life. And that is when I came across a code, which I'm going to share with you, that will help you break all the mental mountains ever. And the beauty of this code is this, that it doesn't matter who you are. When you know the code, the lock will open for you. How many of us have used a code, a lock with the code, the one that had numbers? Have you ever used it? Now imagine if you had a lock which had a code, and you told me the code. And if I tried the code, would it open? 100%. Would it open if he tried it? It doesn't matter. See, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. It doesn't matter whether you're tall, you're short, whether you're fat, you're fit, you're white, or you're black. It just doesn't matter. What matters is if you know the code, then it has to open for you. Am I with you? And I'm going to give you that code today. Are you ready? So get your pen and papers ready. The code is this. C plus R equals O. And it is as clean, as simple, as powerful as 3 plus 3 equals 6. There's no doubt. Yes or no? If I say 3 plus 3 equals, what are you going to say? 6. So the code to removing any kind of mental mountain is C plus R equals O. Now, what is C plus R equals O? So C is the circumstance. C is the circumstance. Now tell me, do you have any control over what happens to you? I had zero control over my dad passing away, yes or no? Zero control. But the control that I had on was, how am I going to respond to it? Because that decided the outcome for me. Am I with you? Circumstance plus response equals outcome. Now, if I say this to you, that Sagarika, for example, she's the one who invited me to be here. But Sagarika, I must tell you, I don't know whether you've really read into my profile, but this is the worst event that I've ever seen. Really. No, but this is true. Now tell me, how many of you think when I say this, it's not a good thing, it'll hurt her, it's not a good thing to say? Raise your hand. Absolutely. That means you were not listening to me. See, Sagarika has no control over what Magan says to Sagarika. Am I with you? It's not in her hands. What is in her hands is the response. So which means if Sagarika says, oh my God, in front of the whole management, this guy said this to me in spite of me giving such a good opportunity to him, what kind of person he is, then her self-esteem is going to go down. But if she changes her response and she says, oh my God, I thought of him as such a good human being, such a good speaker, and this is how he talks to me in front of everybody, I think he's bigger idiot than I am. Then her self-esteem remains at the same level, yes or no? But if she further changes her response and she says, oh, such a big speaker, and in front of hundreds of people, he only chose me for this example, then he must think that I'm mature enough and wise enough to deal with this example and not take it personally. Now what would happen to her self-esteem? Goes up. You got to get, it doesn't matter what Magan said to Sagarika. What matters is what Sagarika said to Sagarika about what Magan said to Sagarika. C plus R equals O. You cannot control a circumstance, can you? But you can control your own response, because that decides the outcome. And if that's the code you're going to use in your life, you will change the outcome, and you can have any outcome that you want in your life. But you got to take on the responsibility for yourself, for your life and your results. So I understood all of this, and a few months ago something happened. One day I wake up, and I wake up with paralysis. And I had no control over that, because I woke up with that. So much so that I could not even move my eyebrow. So the left side, completely paralyzed. Not able to eat, not able to drink. My mouth went like this. I couldn't speak. And I felt my whole career has gone down because I'm a speaker. And if I can't do this, then how will I speak? Who's going to hire me? But I chose not to have that response. So instead of again going back to God and blaming that He's not fair to me, I changed my response, of course, with help of a lot of people. One of them is right here, Gauri. She's right here, and she helped me do this. And I went into about 6 to 8 hours of therapy every day. And in about a month, I went back to the doctors, and they said, really? How did you do this? This is miraculous. From not being able to sip water, not being able to eat food, not being able to move even an eyebrow, to being able to speak here in front of you people. And that happened because of the code. C plus R equals O. And I will show you the power of your mind right now. Are you guys ready to do a quick test with me? Yeah? All right. So all of you, can you notice there's a line at the bottom of your hand? Can you see that? Can you see that? If you can join both the lines at the bottom of your hand and come in the Namaste position, just like so, you will notice, keep your hand like this, and you will notice that one of your hands is slightly, just slightly bigger than the other one. Can you notice that? For some of you, it may be absolutely equal, no problem. But can you notice? So whichever hand is smaller for you, keep that in front of you and put the other hand down. Okay? The smaller one. And for the ones for whom it is equal, keep any hand in front of you, doesn't matter. Put the other hand down, and like so. Okay? Now, like so, sir, can you do that? Yeah. So, look at your hand, not at me, look at your hand. And with complete intention and belief, you got to tell your hand to grow bigger. What do you have to say? Okay, everybody together at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Grow bigger. 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 You got to say it. Grow bigger. Grow bigger. Look at your hand. Grow bigger. Look at your hand. Grow bigger. Grow bigger. Grow bigger. Grow bigger. Grow bigger. All right, bring your hands together and you will see some magic right here. Ooh. Da 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 da. And this works powerfully, but let's test it once again. So keep the same hand in front of you, same hand in front of you, and say back to normal. 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 All right, bring your hands together once again, and you will see some magic again. Whoa. Whoa. Because the only source you have to move your mental mountain is your mind, because locks are mental. But just before I go, I do want to give you a warning. Research has shown that this only works with hands, so don't try this at home. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, it was completely my honor and my privilege to be here with all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.